Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, bringing you yet another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Now, this topic I have a feeling is going to absolutely sweep the community. I actually planned on making this video a couple days ago and just, been doing other things, but, here we are. I want to make it now for you guys. So here's the question. Who is better? Is it STR Cooler? Or is it Physical Beerus? And I want you guys to let me know right off the rip who, let me know in the comments below. Who do you think is better, or who do you prefer using, I suppose, is probably the better way to phrase it. Because at a certain point, I feel like the final answer is just going to be preference. So this is our boy. Let's start from the beginning here. Extreme Ultimate Power Cooler. And of course we know, I've talked at lengths about him. He is the Terrifying Conquerors or Transformation Boost leader at category Key 3, HP 130, and then attack and defense 170. So he's going to have a similar, in terms of numbers, he's going to have a similar leader skill as Physical Beerus. So let's just go over Cooler first, and then we'll kind of go over Beerus, and then I'll kind of give my final sort of opinion. But I want to go into sort of the advanced numbers of the game, and the Dokkan Wiki is the best place for it. Big shout out to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle wiki page. It just doesn't get any better. His super attack is the Destructive Ray, and it causes immense damage and lowers attack and defense. Now his passive skill, we're going to go over his transform version as well. So let's go over this one first. Attack and defense 100%. Transformation Boost category allies, Key 2, attack and defense 30% when facing only one enemy. Terrifying Conquerors category allies, Key 2, attack and defense 50% when facing 2 or more enemies. Very nice support unit, and not to mention he himself is getting attack and defense 100%, and then he himself is an ally, right? So he's either getting attack and defense, let's see, attack and defense 130 or attack and defense 150, depending on how many enemies you're facing. So very nice. Transforms, if I could talk today, can be activated when there is a pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans category enemy starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or when facing only one enemy starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. So essentially, I believe the number that's been thrown about is that the game is 76% pure Saiyans and hybrid Saiyans. I know that seems a little difficult to believe, but it's true. Go through your box and tell me how many pure Saiyans and hybrid Saiyans you have. And then tell me the rest of the units you have. So his links: Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, Big Bad Bosses, Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Universe's Most Malevolent, Fierce Battle. And then his categories: Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Last Resort. So, and then we can see his stats. Their stats are going to be very similar. So that is just the untransformed version. You can see his 12 key multiplier, 150. And he's going to lower attack and defense 20% for 3 turns. All of those debuffs on super attacks are for 3 turns, just so you guys know. Now, quickly, let's go over his transform version. So this is Final Form Cooler, of course, after he transforms, either 3 turns or 6 turns, or not at all from the start of battle. But here we go. Obviously, his leader skill does not change. Super attack, Death Gliding, raises attack infinitely, causes immense damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers defense. His passive skill is Key 3, attack and defense 180%. Launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. Performs a critical hit, guaranteed critical hit, when there's a pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans category enemy. Again, 76% of the time, he's going to be getting guaranteed crits. Essentially, I mean, if that's how you want to look at it. Okay, so his links obviously do not change. Well, not obviously. Sometimes they do change when they transform, but obviously categories don't change. So, okay. And then 12 key multiplier is 150%. He's stacking attack 30% for 99 turns. And that medium chance of performing additional attacks is a 25% chance. So a medium chance of becoming a super attack. So he's one of these units that can potentially launch 3 super attacks. You know, essentially each time he attacks, he then has a chance of proccing the potential system, the hidden potential system. So real quick, let's go over physical Beerus, and then I'll kind of give my final verdict. I just wanted to go over all of the sort of advanced numbers of Cooler, but let's switch over to Beerus. This is Furious God of Destruction Beerus, and remember, he is only on the JP side of the game right now. Obviously, March 3rd, 2020. He will be on Global. I would wager he'd be on Global right before the anniversary. This is the perfect banner. This is the perfect trap banner. I'll tell you what, this is the perfect trap banner because he's very, very good. Comparable with Cooler for sure. Explosion of Anger or Realm of Gods, category key 3. HP 130, attack and defense 170. So in terms of leader skill for both of them, again, they both have the HP 130, attack and defense 170 splits. And in terms of like the categories, they're very comparable. At a certain point, I feel like their categories, it just depends on what you feel like using. Essentially what his category is, you know, if you're going to run a full Beerus team, a double Beerus lead, you can have Realm of Gods plus like, you know, AGL, LR Gohan. You know, Realm of Gods plus LR Tech Broly. Realm of Gods, we can just look. Now, forgive me because this is going to be a very, very wonky view of the category. When you view the mobile version of this website, this is what it does. It breaks down all the assets individually. So, like, there's Tech Broly. This is Rose, LR, the original LR Gohan. This is STR Broly. AGL Zamasu, all of the Brolys, of course. All of the Gohans. I like that they gave a few another category as well. So again, at a certain point, I just feel like, you know, it's just sort of preference. You know, there's like Namek Goku, more Brolys, more Beerus. You can't obviously run other Beeruses. More Brolys. There's Full Power Frieza. Surprisingly, no LR Full Power Frieza. That is the dumbest thing, by the way. This guy finally has a category. Where is he? The actual STR. I don't know where he is, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The Rage, Vegeta, and Bulma. They finally have categories. And then these are just SSRs. But, you know, at a certain point, it's like, do you want to run, you know, Frieza Clan units, or do you want to run Explosion of Anger, you know? And then, you know, Transformation Boost, of course, we know the category. It's got all of the new Dokkan Fest exclusives, essentially. You know, most Dokkan Fests, actually minus Beerus, really have transformations. Most of them do. They're big money makers. But that was a bit of a tangent. Let's go over the rest of his card. So his super attack is going to infinitely stack attack and cause immense damage to the enemy and greatly lower defense. So when they are, when Cooler is untransformed, I think for sure he's got the superior super attack effect. You know, for something like Super Battle Road, I don't like to really use Dokkan events as a true test of their power, because you can clear any Dokkan event with any, you know, respectable team. You know, they're very, very easy, short of a couple of them. I hear that the Android 13 Dokkan event is quite challenging. You know, I haven't run it a ton on JP. I did get my 2 stones from it, but I did not summon for Android 13 on JP. I would not recommend you do that on Global either. But, you know, lowering attack and defense on Super Battle Road, that's kind of how I like to, you know, judge my units, because their performance on Super Battle Road, in my opinion, is the true test of their strength and power. And both of these units perform extremely well. But if we're talking about just looking at it on paper, lowering attack and defense is better than lowering defense. And yes, he's stacking attack, you know, but Cooler does that once he transforms. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Cooler in that case. I'm going to say leader skill is sort of a toss-up. It's just a preference. But super attack, I'm going to give the slight edge to Cooler, because lowering defense isn't all that useful unless you're up against like in UI Goku, right, in the Legendary Goku event. That's where it's going to be really helpful. Or if you got a bunch of counter units on your team. So his passive skill. Defense, 100%. So that's very good. Already he's defensive before he even super attacks or before he gets hit or anything. I love that. Attack, 150% when performing a super attack. Now remember that this means that he's going to perform better with support units around him, just the way the math sort of works out. So, you know, for instance, if you're running, you know, the tech Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, the support unit, the Gallic Gun, you know, it'll be more impactful for Beerus to have him around than for Cooler, because Cooler gets his at the start of turn. So just keep that in mind. Plus an additional attack and defense, 70% within the same turn after receiving an attack. And again, we're going to go over the advanced numbers. It's down at the bottom. But remember that is a separately calculated stat. So similar to like LR Beerus and Whis or Tech Dokkan Fest Beerus. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres and attacks effective against all types when there's a Realm of Gods category enemy. So the last two parts of his passive are only when there is a Realm of Gods category enemy, unless we get his active skill, which we'll go over. His active skill is going to be, again, a separately calculated, like LR Tech Broly, attack and defense 50%, attacks effective against all types, and attacks always connect for one turn, and can be activated when HP is 70% or less, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. So if we're looking at transformation condition versus active skill condition, it's tough to say. Again, I'd probably give this slight edge to Cooler, but I think that Beerus' active skill is probably better if you just kind of look at it that way. So HP 70% or less is not that difficult to get, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. Again, especially if you're looking at something like Super Battle Road, getting below 70% is not challenging to do on Super Battle Road. You'll get down below 50 or 70% after turn 1. So it'll just be a matter of utilizing your items properly. So let's kind of go over the rest of him, though. I think, do we call that one a wash? I mean, in terms of active skill versus, you know, the transformation active skill, I don't know. You're going to be Cooler. I guess I'd probably give it to Cooler. Again, just barely, slightly. You know, because you're going to impact the rest of the fight. So with Cooler. But Cooler, when he's not up against Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, I think it's Beerus all day long. So their links. Let's go over his links. Godly Power, Prodigies, Connoisseur, The Innocents, Shocking Speed, Berserker, Fierce Battle. Links, I think I got to give it to Beerus. They did not give Cooler Shocking Speed, which was kind of a shaft. You know, it's like he gives himself Ki, so it's good, but for the rest of his team, and then of course he's providing Ki to his teammates. But in terms of links, like I don't necessarily like that. I think you should give the main unit, you know, the main category leader, you should give them a good Ki link. I run into this all the time when using Future Gohan. If you're not surrounding yourself with a bunch of like Bond and Master and Disciple allies, then he's going to struggle to super attack. You know, getting 5 Ki versus getting 4 Ki is huge, because if you can just, you know, I'm talking about Future Gohan here for a second, but like if you get him 2 purple Ki spheres, that's a lot easier than trying to, you know, find 5 Ki spheres on the board. So I feel like I run into that all the time. Having that major Ki link is big. So I'm going to give the links to Beerus, even though when Cooler gets Big Bad Bosses active, just get out of his way, right? But it would be the same thing if Beerus can get Berserker active, which you can. You can run Broly's on his team, so he can get Berserker. It's not challenging to get. Just getting 50% or below can be tough. But categories: Realm of Gods, Movie Bosses, Siblings Bond, Worthy Rivals, Bond of Master and Disciple, and Explosion of Anger. You know, categories, I don't know, man. I guess probably I go with Beerus. You know, being able to run him on that Siblings Bond team is big. You know, the LR Gohan and Goten team. Because remember, if you're running him on that team, he's starting with 8 ki. So that's big. And then if you run LR, Beerus, and Whis on that team as well, they're starting with 8 ki. They both share shocking speed, so they're both starting with 10 ki. You know, that's big. So let's kind of go over the rest of him. You know, stats, Cooler has him slightly the slight edge with stats, but it's not going to matter when we look at this stuff. 12 ki multiplier, the same, 150%. His additional defense, 70%, is calculated separately for a total boost of defense 240% after being attacked. I think this easily makes him the best defensive non-EZA unit in the game. And then, of course, like excluding LRs as well. You know, and again, we're talking strictly defense, not damage reduction, not like, you know, not Tech Golden Frieza here. I'm talking strictly defensive stat, right? 240% is extremely high. You know, and then Bergamo, like when he's fully built up. I guess you could say Bergamo would be slightly better. But his active skill is also calculated separately for a total boost of attack 380% and defense 410% when all conditions are met, in addition to having attacks being effective against all types. So that's crazy, right? Without receiving an attack first, the total boost would be attack 275 and defense 200. And then we can see the other parts of his super attack as well. So guys, at a certain point, I mentioned this in like one of my previous videos, is at a certain point it's like comparing apples and oranges. It's like, well, what do you prefer? You know, do you know, and what do you prefer just that day? You know what I mean? I feel like in terms of pure power, Beerus all day. And then in terms of versatility, I feel like it's Cooler, like not even close, because this is another thing, is Beerus looks incredibly impressive next to Whis. So Whis, what he does, I don't have his card pulled up, but essentially what he's doing is when he's paired up with this physical Beerus, and it can technically be any Beerus, but when there's a Beerus attacking in the same turn, he's going to be providing 50% additional attack, and then he's going to be providing 10% healing. So Beerus all of a sudden looks a ton more impressive next to that Whis. And Cooler doesn't necessarily need like his ideal linking partner for him to be, you know, absolutely crazy ridiculous. But it'll be interesting to see how these units perform. So like Cooler in the Legendary Goku event, you know, when he transforms, you know, Cooler I feel like is going to have the edge. He's got this you know, he's got this crazy ability to get these guaranteed crits, but then it's like, you know, Realm of God's enemies, Beerus is super effective against all types. So it's so close. It's so close. And like in different events, they're both going to be, you know, one's going to be better over the other. You know, so like against a Realm of God's enemy, clearly it's Cooler. Or I'm sorry, clearly it's Beerus. Against a pure Saiyan or hybrid Saiyan, clearly it's Cooler. You know, Realm of Gods, I think, man, after the 5-year anniversary, I'm hard-pressed to not call Realm of Gods better than Transformation Boost. But Transformation Boost, I feel like, you know, they're going to have, boy, because it's like when UI Goku and Jiren come out, they're on Realm of Gods. You know? But like when, you know, when Sin Shenron and Gogeta come out, they're probably going to be on Transformation Boost. So both of them are, I guess, kind of in conclusion, boy, oh boy, my 51%, what do you value more? Do you value versatility more? Do you value just pure raw power more? Because if it's pure raw power, it's Beerus. I think that that's pretty clear, especially if you can get that Whis. But it's hard to say because can you summon Beerus and Whis, you know, as a free-to-play player? More than likely, you're only going to pull one or the other. You know, they both have obviously the same rates on the banner, and you can pull Whis moving forward on any banner. Again, Cooler, you don't need, you know, like, you can just straight up run Cooler with himself on a double Cooler team. You can have one transformed and one untransformed. Or more than likely, you've had physical Final Form Cooler sitting in your box forever, and now physical Final Form Cooler has a revitalization with STR Cooler. So I'm going to leave it to you guys. If I had to pick, I feel like Cooler is going to do more for your team. Because Beerus is so highly specialized, having that Whis next to him at 55%, you know, he's able to hit like 4 and 5 million attack stats. I mean, just crazy, ridiculous, you know, crazy damage. But Cooler is going to be providing that either attack and defense 30% for transformation boost, or Terrifying Conquerors, he's going to be providing attack and defense 50% in 2 key. So I feel like I have to slightly give it to Cooler. Like, if you're asking me where's my 51%, I'm giving it to Cooler, and that slight edge is because of his versatility. Beerus is definitely more powerful, but in terms of just an overall well-rounded, you know, well-balanced unit, I gotta give it to Cooler. But let me know, I know this is a long video, if you've made it this far, let me know in the comments, who do you like better? Because it is tough to say, but slap a like if you enjoy videos like this. Consider subscribing if you're new. I'm trying to bring you guys new and exciting and invigorating and unique content every single day, and I love all of you guys. Thank you for your support. We are closing in on my next goal of the channel. We are a mere 300 subs away from 420 subs. So consider subscribing if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.